Hello again, this is Jonathan Miller, the hometown historian. I'm heading out here from, what the park is here in Pine Grove, but we're heading up to go over the mountain. This is our next adventure. We're going to go over the mountain and back again. It's a cool little trip over, I think it's Blue Mountain, going on Route 501, and we're going to actually go, after we get off of the Blue Mountain on 501, we're going to cross over to Route 645. We'll go by Cliff's old homestead, and then we'll come back over the mountain to Pine Grove, and then we'll make our way back to Sudburg, and we're going to go on our first country road to take us home video as well. So I'm trying out a few different things to see how they work, try to add music, that type of stuff, but I'm gonna just let you enjoy the drive, and we're gonna go up over the mountain here. It's a really cool, neat drive. We were up here yesterday. The video will come out in a couple of days. Today is Wednesday, I believe, like September 20th or 21st, something like that. I'm probably off, but anyways, that video I went over to the vista, and we're gonna stop here when we get so far up on the mountain, right past there, because I do want to stop. There's a cool historical marker, and do a quick video of that, and go from there. So hope you enjoy the drive. We're gonna go up over the mountain. It's a neat sight and a neat little drive, and then come back over the mountain via 645. Hi everybody, hope you enjoy this. Quick note that I'm gonna have. This road, I believe for the most part, it follows something called the Topahawken Path. It was a way for the Indians to come over the mountain range, but also the settlers would use this. There was a path along here, and that's the one stop I'm gonna make. It talks about there's a spring up there that's called, it's in German, but it stands for Pilgrim's Rest. This is a cool spring that's up on top of the mountain that they used to stop at, get water for themselves, their horses, or their pack animals, and but this was a well-traveled route for a very long time, probably 300 years that this has been used, and now it's Route 501, but it was a way to get over the mountain, and it was a dangerous path too. This is one of the areas where the Indians would come over during the French and Indian War to do raids. So they did have forts all along here to protect the settlers. So it was a dangerous path to go along as well. But people took it, and it was an important part of their life. And the Appalachian Trail does go up through here. So it is a neat place to be able to park here at the top of the mountain, and to be able to go, if you go on the right side of the road here, when you get up there, that takes you to this vista that I do a video of. And actually you go down that trail a little bit further, and there's another more wide open vista where it's sort of like a field almost. And then you go on the left side, that takes you up down the other side of the mountain. So if you're an avid hiker, it is a cool place. to hike, and now we are going from Schuylkill County into Berks County. Been doing most of my filming so far in Lebanon County, so I'm now going over into Berks County and Schuylkill County and doing a little bit of Dauphin County as well, branching out a little bit further. Just wanting to offer different stuff. But this is the parking lot right here, and then on the right side going down straight through there's a trail that takes you down to the Vista. So we're going to be stopping here shortly. I'm going to be making a left because there is a historical marker that I want to film, and then I want to go and hike up. It's a real short hike to go up to where this spring is called Pilgrim's Rest. I believe I didn't go by it yet. At least I'm hoping I didn't. I think it's right down here. Sort of a nasty place to have to try to get off the road. Oh, right here it is. It's a little, I don't know if that's fog or that's smoke from a diesel vehicle, but it's called Pilger Roo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but we're going to stop here just quick, and then we will continue that video here in a little bit. Thanks, everybody. So we're going to make a left out of here. We stopped at Pilger Roo, but this is not a pleasant place to pull out because you got one side them coming down the mountain, and they come down at quite the speed, and then coming up the mountain on your left, you really can't see. So I do say, if you do stop here by Pilger Roo and check this out, do be very, very careful when you pull in and pull out, because it's not the most fun. But we're out again, and we're heading back down the mountain. And like I said, when we get down to the bottom of the mountain, we go a little further, and we will head over across where Cliff used to live, the Zeller family homestead that he lived at, and then we'll make our way to Route 65 and head back over the mountain. And I think that will probably be the last video that we'll do, just simply because my phone's battery is starting to get a little low. I am hoping here shortly that I'll be able to start using my camera instead of this, but I still haven't gotten the chance to really sort of work on that and play around with it, because I do want to figure it out and make sure that the sound capture is being done correctly, because it is connected a little weird. So I just want to make sure I've never really used something exactly the same way. Normally it's a different way of plugging in, but we'll figure it out, and then hopefully shortly we'll start using that as my primary camera. And I'm going to use this from time to time, and until I get, I think, a better road camera to do these road journeys, I do believe I am going to be a little bit careful and just use this, because I think this will be a little easier to handle than the camera itself. I got to come up with some kind of setup that's a little bit safer while I'm driving, because, I mean, not that it's unsafe, I have full control, but I'm not completely 100% comfortable with doing it this way. But right now this is the best way for me to do it, and so that's how we do it for right now. But yeah, we're almost down on the Bethel side in Berks County of the mountain here, the Blue Mountain. This is, like I said before, it doesn't exactly follow Tulpehoeken path, but it's the general area of that path. And like with the Native Americans, it was probably thousands of years old, and they had used that spring for quite a long period before that. And 1742 they found it when they were going north and named it Pilger Roo. So it's a pretty neat historical spring, cool place to stop and just check out. And it is nice because it's right off the road. Very, very easy to find. It's actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. So I'm gonna flip my turn signal on here in a second. I'm gonna flip hands again. Sorry if I get my hand and my finger in the camera. Just sort of with having to handle this the way I have to handle it. It does happen. Freddie likes his attention, apparently. Likes to be in the videos as much as he possibly can. Soon he'll be a thing of the past. And this is Fort Henry Road. This is one of those French and Indian War era forts. They weren't really that big. They weren't what most of them were not what you would consider. You think about forts. Not the same thing. They were really pretty small dwelling, but they could hold 10 to 15 troops usually. And there is a monument where the fort had once been. It'd be back in the woods on private property, but the monument is right aside the road. But we're not going to go down there today. We're going to make a left here. If you continue going back that way on the right, I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly how far back it was, but there is a monument there that talks about Fort Henry. But that was a very important fort. It was the first one right off of the Blue Mountain, and then Cliff has done a whole series on that and talking about the Blue Mountain forts, and we did a video early talking about Fort Swatara and its importance guarding the Swatara Gap. This wasn't guarding a gap, this was guarding right off of the Tulpahawken Path, that trail that the Native Americans would use to come over the mountain if they were having an attack. So during the French and Indian War, that was pretty common. And like with anything, there was two sides to every story. But and right up there, if you look up, that's the mountain up there that we just crossed over. So we're going to be heading over here this way to get the 645, which will take us back over the mountain on a lower side of that mountain. It's probably a little bit more of a unique pathway over the mountain. It sort of zigzags quite a bit more. So it probably is just as high, but and we'll be going right by the lane that goes back into Cliff's house, or where he had lived for a long time. Beautiful place, it really was. He raised his Tennessee fainting goats there. There's a nice creek that goes right by the property. It really was a beautiful, beautiful place. But this is the creek right here, and new people have a slide and everything there. But the lower lane that went back through here, and then the upper lane, which he had changed the way the lane was laid out and had it go down the middle, but they switched that back again. But it was just a really cool farm homestead, and it was a shame everything that happened, but that's life. And Cliff's done well for himself. I'm very proud of Cliff and everything that he's accomplished, everything that he's put into the Wandering Woodsman channel. Like he's built that, from nothing, and that's impressive. That took a lot of effort, a lot of work, and I'm able to build my channel the way I'm able to build it. It's just an oddity, if you will, because normally you aren't able to build it this way, just because of how hard it is to get subscribers, and all the work you put in to actually make the channel happen. But I had a lot of help from him, continue to have a lot of help from him, and without his help I wouldn't be where I'm at. So, and without the crowd, the Wandering Woodsman crowd that came over from him and welcomed me into this, I wouldn't be where I'm at either. So, but we are gonna soon be over at Route 645, and then I'll shush up a little bit. I'm always whispering on about all kinds of whatnot, and I like to ramble, I like to talk, sometimes a little bit too much. But it did actually start to rain when we were over at Pilgeroo, or at Pilgrim's Rest. I almost got nailed by a pretty good sized branch as I got out of the van. It sort of scared me a little bit because I wasn't expecting it. The winds were getting pretty severe, and the thing landed like 2 feet away from me, fell out of a tree. But I didn't get hit, I'm still alive. That's all that matters. A lot of good memories back here coming out to the homestead and hanging out with Cliff at his farm. I always enjoyed seeing the goats, because the Tennessee fainting goats are hilarious. They just they get excited, their legs lock up, and they fall over. Apparently they were used when farmers had their sheep. They would use the Tennessee fainting goats because they would get excited if wolves would show up, and when they saw them starting to fall over, then they knew that it was time to get the sheep in, they also, I guess, they wind up becoming the food for the wolves as well, back when they had wolves in this area. But that's how the Tennessee State fainting goats sort of originated. However, whatever anomaly, a genetic issue that they have, that they get excited and something happens and it winds out freezing them and they just fall over. But they'll get excited, they get fed or whatever it is, a quick shout, and down they go. It's pretty comical when, like, they don't get hurt. It's like 4 or 5 of them will fall over at once because they get all excited. And they're always cute. Goats are naughty, but I always enjoyed going out to this farm and seeing the goats. But maybe at some point, Cliff has said a number of times, at some point, if he's able to buy a property again, maybe have the fainting goats. But he said, in a way, you know, not having that, he was able to go out and start building the channel, because the farm took a lot of time, you know, taking care of all the animals. They don't feed themselves, and you got to make sure the goats are naughty and they try to get into all kinds of stuff, so you got to keep after them to make sure they're not doing too much damage. But so we're heading up here on Route 645, and we will soon be climbing back up on the mountain, and we'll wind out back in Pine Grove, and then I guess I will see where my battery's at, and then that'll determine whether we try to maybe do one more video and do maybe the country roads take me home in the Outwood region, because that's a pretty neat area to drive around in. I'd love to be able to take you guys through there. Just a lot of back roads, forest roads. I think the one road is called Black Forest Road. It's sort of ominous, but really pretty area in Outwood. So, and at some point I want to do a video going through Greenpoint, and then do a video of the log cabin and just talk about that a little bit as well. But we're heading back up the mountain. This is especially pretty, like in fall when the leaves change. It's really pretty through here. Always enjoyed coming through. Fall's my favorite season. I had asthma growing up, and I still have some issues with breathing. So fall's the easiest season for me to be able to breathe. And here we're coming up to our first stretch where we really have to rev her up, and the Miller Mobile has to put in a little extra effort. Why, but it always seemed like this one was never as high as 501, where it goes over the Blue Mountain. I might be wrong, but it just doesn't feel like it's as high. You do get a pretty cool view more towards the top, like looking over to the right here. You can see down into the valley. It's like that, like whether because of all the leaves, it's like that, you might not be able to see terribly well, but and there's a lot of cloud cover today, so it is a pretty sight looking over there. You can't really see much through there, but always enjoyed coming over there. My favorite one though is going over Gold Mine. We'll do a trip over Gold Mine at some point, and coming over at night down to Tower City, the lights, it's like that when you come down the mountain. I used to always love at Christmas time when we went over to my Uncle Art and Aunt Althea, to their place in Tower City before Christmas. It just lit up with the Christmas lights and all that. It was just beautiful, beautiful drive. Well, we're now heading down the other side of the mountain, and we'll wind out where it comes out is a little bit of ways before Pine Grove. And then probably from there we'll head home. We'll end our our journey here and head back home. I just thought it'd be cool to go up and over the mountain and then come back over. It's, you know, pretty short trip, if you will, but still a pretty neat one. A lot of cool roads, a lot of cool sights. A little scary in winter, but a neat drive. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know how you feel about these. I do want to try to do more. I had the idea of the country roads take me home. This is somewhat along that way, but the country roads would be more just sort of wandering around. You know, oh, we're gonna make a left or a right here, see if there's anything cool sights along the way, that type of stuff, and then stop and check those out. Cool barn, let's photograph it, that type of stuff. Just be little adventures, areas maybe that I've never been before. You know, certainly probably for you guys, areas that you haven't been before. Some of you probably have if you're more local, but always a neat, really neat drive. Almost tempted as well to make a left over here. I think it's called Swopes Valley Road. That takes you over to Sudburg. That's a pretty neat stretch of road. There's a couple houses along there that Cliff always said he really liked. They were older houses that would have taken quite a bit of work, and I guess you could say somewhat abandoned, and it would be where you can take a left right here. Pretty neat road that takes you over in that area. But oh, they redid that bridge finally. That took forever. I was wondering why it looked so much cleaner. Well, that's why. Yeah, they had that thing partially shut off for a long time. They finally got it done. They also had right along this area. I talked about Nutting Hall on the video that I go, you know, from Greenpoint back over to Pine Grove is the trip that I used to take to my grandpa's when I was a kid. Very nostalgic journey. My dad's favorite author, he was one of his favorite authors, a Civil War author. The Nutting Hall I talked about, his sister had bought that, and I have a couple of books by him that my dad got him that he actually signed. I believe he actually lived, it was the house over here, but he was a pretty cool guy. I don't know why, but the name absolutely eludes me right now. But he wrote a couple books about Gettysburg, Appomattox, a number of Civil War battles, and I think they were done more in like novel form. But he was a pretty neat guy. He actually worked on a couple of different, I think he worked with Clint Eastwood on his Flags of Our Fathers, because he had served in World War II at Iwo Jima, and he had written a book that was partially based off of, and he was there as a film advisor, as a writer. So we're coming up here on the Swati, and then we'll be back on 443 where we started in Pine Grove, and we will wind up shutting off around there, and hopefully we'll see you soon again. But this was over the mountain and back again. This is a cool road trip over the Blue Mountain on Route 501 and Route 645. So thanks for coming along, everybody. Let me know how you feel about it. It was a fun trip, and hope to take you along on some more trips here coming up soon. And we will see you about town.